Hi, I'm Sarah Hart, Director of Drive Hart. Welcome to Series 2 of Teaching a Learner to Drive. This is all about the instructors. So a lot of people ask me, what is the process of becoming a trained and qualified driving instructor? There's three exams to sit. The first one is Part 1. Part 1 is a test of theory, and it's very similar to that a learner would have to sit before their driving test. We recommend an app called Safe Driving for Life to help you get through your theory test. Part 2 is a test of your driving ability. Again, similar to the learner test, but I can assure you a lot more difficult. It lasts longer, you get more manoeuvres, and they're looking for a very high level of discipline in your driving. Before you can take your Part 3, which is a test of your instructional ability, there's a few more bits and pieces in between Part 2 and Part 3. So you do have the opportunity to go on a training licence. A training licence lasts generally for 6 months. We can get them for longer sometimes at the moment, but think about it as a 6-month training licence. Once you're on your training licence, you can teach learners for money. However, to get on a training licence, you need to have completed at least 40 hours of training. Normally, it's going to take longer than that to get somebody ready to go out on the road on a pink licence. So in order to get your pink licence, you've obviously got to have a car to train in, and you also need a sponsoring company. So you've found your sponsoring company, you've done your 40 hours training with them, you're now ready to go out on your pink licence. When you're on your pink licence, you also need to complete another 20 hours of training with your sponsor or your trainer, and they don't have to be the same person, although normally they are. And then you're ready for your Part 3. But your Part 3, as I said, is a test of your instructional ability. So that's the main format of the tests to become a driving instructor. There's obviously a lot more to the Part 3. And what we're going to talk about later on in this series is the skills that you need to become a really good instructor and the skills that you need to get through the exams.
So, Sarah, can I just
Yes.
ask, how do I actually start this process?
So, good question. What you need to do is to go onto the .gov website and literally apply to become an instructor. And the first thing you're going to be asked to do is to get a DBS check done. Once you've got your completed DBS check, and then you'll get that sent back with a number. Once you plug in that number, then the DVSA will take that further and give you your PRN number, which is your personal reference number that will be with you for life as a driving instructor. So it's an online step 1.
Okay. How much does it cost to apply to be a driving instructor?
It doesn't cost anything to apply in the first instance.
So I think is there a small cost of the convictions check, the DBS?
Oh, the DBS, there is a small fee.
And that's on .gov, is it?
Yes, that is, yeah.
Okay. So just to summarise, there are 3 exams.
Correct.
That's the DVSA Part 1, which is a test of theory.
Yes.
And the DVSA Part 2, which is a test of your driving ability.
Yes.
And your Part 3 is a test of your teaching ability.
Mm-hmm.
In between your Part 2 and Part 3, you can opt to go on a training licence, but you'll need a sponsor for that, which is usually another training company.
Yes, and it's worth saying at this point, you don't have to go on a training licence to get ready for your Part 3. Most people do, but you don't have to.
Okay. Some of the key questions that I've heard is how much does it cost to get trained? Do we have any sort of idea on that?
Well, what we do is we do a pay-as-you-go scheme. So we don't take any huge sums of money up front at all, and we don't tie people into contracts. So it's a pay-as-you-go scheme, and that will, how much it costs will depend on your abilities and how quickly you pick things up.
Some other companies advertise packages. Are those sort of indicative of the price of cost of training?
A lot of companies will offer you packages which will, a lot of them will be videos and online learning. We offer that as well as in-car training. which is sort of done on a one-to-one basis with
Okay.
ORDIT trainers.
So is there any sort of average time that it takes to train to be an instructor?
I think if you're looking probably at about a year, realistically. Some companies will say you can get it done in a few months. That's not realistic, especially at the moment, because there is a bit of a hold up on DVSA exams through to taking the exams. So the dates are difficult to get, so that can create a bit of a backlog.
So in terms of any sort of advice that you would give to somebody who's looking at this as a career, what would you say?
I'd say choose your training company really carefully. I'd also advise people to get recommendations from people who have trained, and go with the recommendations. Very often smaller companies are better than the large franchises. But again, do your research, do your homework. You're going to be investing a fair amount of money in this process to give you the skill for life to be a driving instructor. So make sure you choose carefully.
What could I expect to earn?
Well, that depends. It depends. It's one of those that the more you put in, the more you can take out. So you could be looking at about sort of 30 to 40 K a year. You could go over that, but you're going to have to be working quite long hours. The beauty of the job is you would be self-employed normally. So your work pattern is yours to manage. But you're looking probably about £30,000 onwards.
And then you have to take off the costs of running as a business.
That's right. Yeah, you've got all your expenditure to come off that.
Okay. Are there any other key points of advice that you give?
No, I can't think of any right at this moment, but you need to think about it carefully, work your figures out before you decide to embark on the training, and think about allowing about a year. And for those of you that are already in an occupation, we always recommend that people keep the job that they've got and train alongside that job. And when we offer flexible training, we will fit the training to match with the person's needs, really, time-wise.
And is there anywhere that I could go to get further information?
Well, you can come to us, give Drive Hart a call. We're always happy to talk to people, and we're always happy to meet people for a driving assessment, to have a look at how near they are to their Part 2.
And how can we get in touch with Drive Hart?
So you can phone us, you can find us on our website, you can do WhatsApp. There's a link on our website to WhatsApp, so all of the normal channels.
Okay, and are you doing any more sessions?
Yes. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the skills that you need, like I said earlier, to become a good instructor. And we're going to talk through the exam criteria and the exam prep and the whole process. So I hope that's been useful to you. Please feel free to contact us as always, and we shall see you again.